Anty's Big Adventure. Chapter 1: The Tiny World. Anty was a very small ant. She lived in a big colony under the ground. Every morning, hundreds of ants left the nest in a long line. They searched for food, breadcrumbs, sugar, or tiny pieces of fruit. Anty liked her home, but she was different from the other ants. Most ants worked quietly, carrying food and following orders. Anty, however, always looked around with curious eyes. She often asked herself, "What is outside the garden? What is beyond the tall grass?" Her mother, a kind aunt, always said, "Stay close, Anty. The world outside is dangerous." But Anty's heart was full of dreams. She wanted to see the sky, the flowers, and maybe even animals bigger than ants. One day, as Anty carried a tiny seed back to the nest, she stopped. She looked at the sunlight shining between the leaves. The light seemed to call her name. Anty whispered, "Maybe my world is small, but I want to see more." And in that moment, her adventure began. Chapter 2: A Brave Decision. The next morning, Anty woke up early. The other ants were still sleeping. She walked to the entrance of the colony and looked outside. The world was bright and wide. She could hear the sound of birds singing. She could smell flowers in the wind. Anty felt a little afraid. She remembered her mother's words, but she also felt strong. "I am small," she thought, "but I can be brave." She stepped out of the colony alone. Her heart beat fast, but she smiled. This was the first step of her big adventure. Chapter 3: The First Challenge. Anty walked across the garden. The ground was soft and full of green grass. Suddenly, she heard a shadow above her. It was a bird. The bird saw Anty and moved closer. Its beak looked sharp. Anty ran quickly. She hid under a small rock. The bird pecked at the ground but could not reach her. Anty waited until the bird flew away. She took a deep breath. "That was close," she said. "I must be careful. Courage is not only about fighting, it is also about being smart." She continued her journey, more careful than before. Chapter 4: New Friends. While walking, Anty saw a bright butterfly. The butterfly's wings were blue and yellow. "Hello, little ant," said the butterfly kindly. "Hello," said Anty. "The world is so big. I feel so small here." The butterfly smiled. Being small does not mean being weak. Every creature has its own strength. Anty felt happy. She had made her first friend. The butterfly flew high, showing her the beauty of flowers around them. Anty looked at the colors, the shapes, and the sweet smell of the flowers. She realized there was so much to learn. Chapter 5: The Storm. The sky suddenly turned dark. Heavy clouds covered the sun. Anty felt drops of water on her back. "It's a storm," she cried. The rain fell harder and harder. For Anty, each drop was like a big stone. She ran and found shelter under a wide leaf. The thunder roared. The ground shook with water. Anty hugged herself, shivering. "This is scary," she whispered. But storms do not last forever. After a long time, the rain slowed down. The clouds moved away. Anty stepped out, wet but safe. She smiled. "Now I know what real storms feel like." Chapter 6: Lost but Not Alone. When the storm ended, Anty realized she had lost her way. The garden looked different. The smell of the colony was gone. For a moment, Anty felt sad. She sat on a small leaf and closed her eyes. Then she remembered her mother's words, "Follow the smell. Ants always know the way home by their scent." Anty touched the ground with her antennae. Slowly, she began to find a familiar trail. On her way, she met a ladybug. "Are you lost?" asked the ladybug. "Yes," Anty answered. "But I am trying to find my home." "Don't worry," said the ladybug. "Every path leads to learning." With new hope, Anty continued her walk. Chapter 7: Back to the Colony. At last, Anty smelled something she knew well, the scent of her colony. Her tiny heart jumped with joy. She followed the trail quickly. When she arrived, the other ants were surprised. "Where have you been, Anty?" they asked. "I went to see the world," Anty said proudly. She told them about the bird, the butterfly, the storm, and the ladybug. The ants listened with wide eyes. Her mother hugged her and whispered, "You are brave, my little one. You have seen what many ants never see." Anty felt warm inside. She was home again. Chapter 8: A New Dream. That night, Anty sat near the entrance of the colony. She looked up at the stars in the dark sky. They sparkled like tiny lights. "I am still small," she thought, "but the world is huge, and I want to see more of it." She smiled, dreaming of new adventures. Anty knew that courage, friendship, and hope would always guide her. Her first adventure was over, but her journey had only just begun.